Boo upset Skippy's stomach. I'm not leaving the room.
My friend Lottie always comes out during Christmas.
Her friend Lottie looks like an onion.
But this year, she won't be out until after New Year.
She may look like an onion, but she smells like a garbage disposal.
Because this year, she slipped on her driveway and broke her foot
And
because of all the
she
ice.
tastes like a septic
So
tank.
when she gets here, she's gonna have a cast on her. Carl, where would you put the cast if you broke your hip?
Lottie doesn't have hips. Lottie has raw pieces of whale skin wrapped around the septic tank in the middle.
Carl doesn't like Lottie.
That's right.
Carl thinks Lottie smells, but I think he's just kidding.
How can you smell with alcohol on your breath?
Oh,
What
God.
did you say, woman?
You're too drunk to smell anything.
Will you shut up with all this drinking talk?
I think it's time that your next stillborn was baptized. Don't you?
Carl!
Silence.
20 years later, Boo has dinner with his son.
So, how are things up in Dartmouth? People in the office ask me how my Ivy League son is doing.
It's all right.
Are there any pretty girls up there? So what are you learning up there?
Test the D'Urbervilles is a... I'm not at Dartmouth anymore. I'm at Columbia in graduate school.
I knew that. I'm at Columbia. How is it?
It's fun.
Why are you still going to school?
I don't know. What do you think I should do?
I don't know. Your mother and I got a divorce, you know.
Yes, I know. We have discussed this, you know.
I don't know why she wanted a divorce. I mean, we've been separated for several years. Why not just leave it at that?
She wanted to feel independent, I guess.
A man needs a woman, son. I miss your mother. You know, I always found her very charming. When she wasn't shouting. I think your old man's going to get teary for a second. I'm just an old softy. Do you have any problems you want to talk over? Your old man can help you out.
At around the same time, Bette also has dinner with her son.
Hello, Skippy dear. I need steak for you, and mashed potatoes, and peas, and cake. How many days can you stay?
I have to get back tomorrow.
But you never stay long.
I really have to get back.
But Polly Lidstone's son comes to dinner twice a week. And her daughter, Mary, came home from college. And Judith Rankel's son came home after college and commutes 40 minutes to work.
And some kid from Pingree School came home after class and shot both his parents. So what?
There is no need to be nasty.
I'm sorry. I just don't want to hear about Polly Lidstone and Judith Rankel anymore.
You know, you're the only one of my children that live. You should see me more.
That's not a fair thing to say.
You're right. It's not fair for me to bring up the children that died. That's besides the point. I realize you and I must take responsibility for our own actions. Of course, the church wasn't very helpful at the time, but we had brains of our own, so there's no point in assigning blame. I must take responsibility for wanting children so badly that I kept trying over and over, hoping for miracles. Did you see the article in the paper, by the way, about how they've discovered a serum for people with the RH problem? That if it had been existed back then, it would have allowed you to have more babies.
Yes, I had. I had wondered if you'd read the article.
Yes, I did. I felt terribly sad for a while, but then I thought, to move on. And I realize that you must live your life and I must live mine. And I know my life has not worked out as I wished. But I still feel a deep inner serenity. So you mustn't feel sorry for me because I am completely happy in my little sunlit apartment. So I'm going to close my eyes and I want you to go and live your life. And I'm going to live mine. Goodbye. God bless you.
I'm afraid I made that conversation up totally.
Hello, Skippy dear. I made steak for you and mashed potatoes and peas and cake. You know, you're the only one of my children that live. How many days can you stay?
Gee, I don't know. A couple of days. 3 years. Only 10 minutes. My car is double parked. I could stay 8 years if you let me go away for the summer. Gee, I don't know. Back into chronology. Sometime after the unpleasant Christmas at the Hudlots, Bette brings Boo back to Father Donnelly.
I pledge in front of Father Donnelly to give up drinking and save my marriage and make my wife and son happy. And this time I mean it.
Read the other part.
And I promise to tell my father to go to hell.
I didn't see that part.
Now sign it. Now bless us.
All right. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Now let's go home. Now, maybe if you give up drinking for good this time, God will let this next baby live. And I'm going to Mass daily, and Emily is praying. You're not very talkative, Boo.
I don't have anything to say.
Well, you should have something to say. Marriage is a 50-50 proposition.
Where do you come up with these things? On the back of match packs?
Why are you being so nasty? Have you had a drink already?
No, I have not had another drink already. I just find it very humiliating to be constantly brought in front of that priest so he can hear your problems with me.
Do you think he cares what you do? And besides, if you don't want people to know you drink, then you shouldn't drink.
You are obsessed with drinking. Were you frightened at an early age by a drunk? What is the matter with you?
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 Shortly after the second pledge, Bette and Skippy visit the Brennans to celebrate Joan's birthday. Boo stays home, drunk or sulky. It's not clear.
All my children live home. It's so nice. Emily's here, back from the rest home, and Joni's here because her marriage hasn't worked out, and somebody has to watch all those children for her while she's working. Poor thing. And Tom's here too sometimes, when he gets fired, or when his spastic colon is acting up really badly. And then he always goes off again. But I bet he ends up here for good eventually. The only one who hasn't come home is Betsy, because she's so stubborn. But maybe she'll end up here too someday. I just love having the children home. Otherwise, there'd be no one to talk to. Unless I wanted to learn sign language with Paul. Sometimes, I'm afraid if I had to choose between having my children succeed in the world and live far away from home, or having them fail and live home, that I choose the latter. But luckily, I haven't had to choose. Come on, everybody, let's celebrate Joni's birthday. And don't anyone mention that she's pregnant with yet another baby.
Every time I look at you, you're using nose spray.
You just got here.
Well, the last time I was here, you're going to give yourself a sinus infection.
I already have a sinus infection.
The girls always fight. It's so cute. Now, girls.
Well, you use too much nose spray. It might hurt the baby inside of you.
let's drop the subject of babies, shall we?
I can't imagine why you're pregnant again.
Happy birthday, Joan! I made the cake. I better go get it. Where is Boo? Huh?
He's home, drunk or sulking. Skippy and I can't decide which. Where's Nikos, Joe?
Under a truck, I hope.
Well, you married him. Everyone told you not to.
Let's change the subject. How are you doing in school, Skippy?
Fine.
Isn't that nice?
Skippy always gets straight A's. Is little Mary Frances still getting F's? Maybe if you were home more, she'd do better.
I can't afford to be home more. I don't have a life of leisure like you do.
Happy birthday, Joan!
Hush, Emily. If I had several children, I'd make time to spend with them.
You have a home and a husband, and I don't have either.
Well, it's your own fault. Please don't argue, Bette. Why do you say Bette? Why don't you say Jody? She's the one arguing.
You don't anybody argue. You see what your talking has done? You're going to give Emily another breakdown.
That's sweet of you to worry, Joni, but I'm all right. You're just a neurotic mess. You're going to ruin your children.
Good thing you only have one to ruin. Otherwise, the mental ward wouldn't just have Emily in
This
it.
cake looks very nice, Emily. Why don't we all have some? I bet Skippy would like it.
We forgot to have Joni. Blow out a candle.
There aren't any candles on the cake.
Oh, I forgot that. I'm sorry, Joni.
Why should I have candles? I don't have anything else.
Poor Joni.
It's wet. It's wet, Skippy. Don't eat it. It'll make you sick.
It isn't cooked right?
It's wet. It's wet. You didn't cook it enough.
I don't like cake anyways.
Poor Joni.
Why do you keep saying poor Joni? Her baby's going to live.
Oh, Bat.
Maybe we'll both have a miracle. Maybe this time yours will live and mine will die.
Joni!
Don't say that!
Girls, this isn't conversation for the secret. Or for you. Calm
The funeral of Paul Brennan.
Paul was a fine husband. Fine Paul.
Thank you for being sober today, Boo. Look how happy it makes Skippy.
He's drunk.
That's not funny.
Dearly bereaved. Paul Brennan was a fine man, and now he's dead. I didn't know Paul very well, but I imagine he was a very fine man, and everyone spoke well of him, although he wasn't too able to speak very well of them. It's going to be hard not to miss him, but God put his children on this earth to adapt to circumstances, to do his will. I was reminded of this the other morning when I saw my colored garbage man collecting the refuse as I was on my way to say Mass. Good morning, Father, he said. Nice day. And what's your name? I said. Percival Pretty, Father, he said. And how are you? Percival, I said. I'm doing the will of God, Father. He said. God saw fit to take my little buttermilk to him, and now I'm taking out the trash. And who is little buttermilk? I said. Why, little buttermilk was my daughter. And then he smiled. Colored folk have funny ideas for names. I knew one colored woman who named her daughter January 22nd. It was not easy to forget her birthday. But I think that Percival Pretty smile is a lesson for all of us. And so now, when I think of Paul Brennan, I'm going to smile. And then, nothing can hurt you. Be strong, dear.
Thank you, Father, for your talk.
I turned against Greeks after Nico's dad. You were right, Dad. You were right.
Thank you, Joni. That was a nice gesture.
Hello, Bette. Hello, who? You're putting on weight, Bette.
Oh, it's nothing. I mean, it will be nothing.
Bette goes to hospital for the 4th time, etc., etc.
Pop, eventually there's menopause, right? I mean, something happens. And then it stops, and then...
Where are the Brennans? Have they lost the playing spirit?
Betsy wasn't that way when I married her, was she?
Carl, is there a space between my eyes?
What did you say, sir?
Nothing. I'll wait till we get home. Lottie always says that when your eyebrows begin to kiss, you better watch it.
Your mother's eyebrows are kissing more.
You make everything sound so dirty, Carl. I wish I had never said that.
Do you want to hear a dirty story? Or, are you listening? Once, there was a traveling salesman who met a girl in a barn who was more stupid than you.
I don't know this
The
one.
girl was an albino. She was an albino humpback with a hair.
I'm going to get a
And
drink.
this albino humpback saw the traveling salesman with his dicky hanging
Carl,
out.
I
And she said, "What's that?" And then he said,
Carl,
"That's my dicky." Why does it swing around? So, what's the end of the story?
Carl, I never listened to your story.
What's the answer to the joke?
I don't know. Something about a dicky. Really? I gotta go home and take a bath. I feel awful. Catholics can't use birth control, can they? That's a joke on someone.
You missed the war?
Did it live?
Not unless they redefine the term.
Don't tease me, Carl. Let's distract him. See if he remembers the joke.
You tell it, Soot.
But I don't like the joke. I just thought maybe he'd remember it.
It didn't live.
Tell the joke, Soot.
Poor Louie.
Pop, I don't want to hear a joke. I should go see Bette, but I don't think I can face her.
Louie, why don't you get a drink? You look awful. I gotta go home and check my forehead.
Tell the damn joke, Soot.
Pop, I don't want to hear a joke.
No, it's all right, Louie. I'll tell it. Your father seems to be obsessed with it.
Here, you'll need this.
Oh, Carl. All right, Louie, you ready?
I don't want to hear a joke.
You'll like it more.
Now, Louie, it seems there was this poor unfortunate, stupid crippled girl, and she met this
Will
man.
you two shut up? I don't want to hear a joke.
He doesn't want to hear the joke.
Hold it, Ronnie, Soot.
I'm sorry. I'm really not myself today, Carl. I'm sorry, Louie. Louie?
What is the matter with Mary Jane? Is it a cramp? It isn't a pain. And lovely rice puddings for dinner again. What is the matter with Mary Jane? Christopher Robin had measles and sneezels. They bundled him into bed. The names of the children are Patrick Michael, February 25th. Christopher Tigger, March 6th. and Kubert Eeyore, March 26th. be a mother. But I don't think Louie wants me to get pregnant again.
Oh, have you tried the rhythm method?
But I want to get pregnant.
What does your doctor say?
Well, the problem is, all the babies die. I don't see why I have to go through all this suffering. Boo never helps me.
I give a retreat for young married couples every year. Why don't you and your husband come to that? Sure to help you if you have any problems on the marriage couch.
Thank you, Father. I'll bring Bowie to the retreat. Bowie? Bowie? Bowie?
What?
Bowie, I'm pregnant again. Do you think I'm going to die?
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, Amen. Good evening, young marrieds. Am I in the right room?
I'm not married, Father. I hope you don't mind that I'm here.
On the contrary, I'm delighted. I'm not married either. The theme of marriage in the Catholic Church and in this retreat is centered around the wedding feast at Cana, where Jesus Christ blessed the young wedding couple, and when they had finished all their expensive wine, he performed his first miracle. He took the vase of water and he changed the water into wine. I have some wine right here.
He drinks. Why aren't you getting him to stop drinking?
Please don't talk when I'm talking. Young marrieds have many problems to get used to. For some of them, this is the first person of opposite sex the other's ever known. The husband might not be used to a woman in his bathroom. The wife might not be used to a strong masculine odor in her boudoir. The wife may not cook well enough. How many marriages have floundered upon the rocks of ill-cooked bacon? I used to amuse my friends by imitating bacon on a saucepan. Would anybody like to see that? Bacon's better. But things like coffee and bacon are important to the marriage because they represent things that the wife does to make her husband happy. Or fat. The wife cooks the bacon and the husband brings home the bacon. This is how St. Paul saw marriage. Although they probably didn't really eat pork back then, in Christ's time, the curing process wasn't very well worked out. Which is why so many of them followed the Jewish dietary laws, even though they were Christians. I know I'm glad to be living now, when I have cured pork and plumbing and showers, rather than back when Christ lived. Many priests say they wish they had lived in Christ's time so they could have met him. That, of course, would have been very nice, but I'm glad to be living now and to have a shower. I'm not ready for questions yet, Emily. Man and wife. Now, the wife should obey her husband, but that's not considered a very modern thought, so I'm not even going to talk about it. All right, don't obey your husbands. But if chaos follows, don't blame me. The Tower of Babel, as an image of chaos, has always fascinated me.
Put your hand down, Emily.
Thank you. Now I don't mean to get off on the wrong point. The point is, husband and wife, man and woman, Adam and Rib. I don't want to dwell on the equality of sexes, because these vary from couple to couple. Sometimes the man is stupid. Sometimes the woman is stupid. Sometimes both are stupid. But man and wife are joined together in holy matrimony to complete each other, to repopulate the earth, and to glorify God. That's what it's for. That's what life is for. If you're not a priest or a nun, you normally get married. Yes, I know you're not married, Emily. My comments today are geared toward the married people here. Man and wife are helpmates. She helps him, he helps her, in sickness and in health. Anna Karenina should not have left her husband, nor should she have jumped in front of that train. Marriage is not a step to be taken lightly. The church does not recognize divorce. It does permit it, if you insist for legal purposes, but in the eyes of the church, you are still married and can never be unmarried. Which is why you can never remarry after divorce, because that would be bigamy, that's a sin, and illegal as well. So for goodness sakes, if you're going to get married, pay attention. Have conversations with that person. Find out if you want to live with them for years and years and years and years. Because you can't change it. Priests have it easier. If I don't like my pastor, I can apply for a transfer. If I don't like my housekeeper, I can get her fired. But husband and wife are stuck together. So know what you're doing when you get married. I get